Hello, and welcome to ARCH Talks, a video podcast series focusing on the challenges, trends, and evolutions of the workplace. I'm your host, Monique Pothoff. I'm a workplace strategist and client advocate located in Paris, France. We decided to do this podcast in order to provide a platform to give a voice to small and medium businesses in the industry so that their voices can be heard. But before we start, here's a quick word from our sponsors.
I'm Stéphane Pic, co-founder at ARCH.DESIGN. Today, businesses are facing the challenge of bringing people back to the office. I truly believe that a well-designed workplace makes people enjoy coming to the office. At ARCH.DESIGN, we want a world where workspaces serve as a tool for the company, support the culture, and inspire how people work. We work as a team to understand our clients' expectations and objectives, and my role is simply to bring this team together that will enable each project to be a success.
I am Catherine Leyawank, the General Manager of the Franco-British Chamber of Commerce, or British Chambers of Commerce in France. The objectives of the Franco-British Chambers of Commerce in France is to help British companies to develop in France and to help French companies to develop their business in Britain.
We're doing a special podcast series focusing on how other industries can influence the workplace and how we think of it. This episode is going to focus on retail design and how things we've learned from that industry can impact the workplace. So today's guest is Galia Minkara, and she's coming from Agility Solutions. So could you give us a quick intro about yourself?
Hi, yes, I'm Galia Minkara. I'm a civil engineer. I'm today the operations director at Agility Solutions. Before this, I used to work in a big general contracting company. And then I went for 7 years to Lebanon, and I own my own company in renovation of all kind of projects, residential, retail, offices. We had a very diversity of projects. And now at Agility Solutions, we have projects like office fit-outs and retail projects. And we have a lot of repeat business. For example, when we do a retail business in Paris, we do the same retail business in other countries all over Europe. We have one project, and usually it's satisfying for the client. So we can do a project in Paris, then he has the same projects in the UK or Luxembourg or Brussels or Germany. We follow our clients everywhere in Europe.
Fantastic. I want to take a little step back in time because I keep having flashbacks lately when people talk about the return to the office and how do we get people to come back to offices? Will offices even be relevant or existing tomorrow? And I remember a time like this for retail. It started in roughly 2010, I would say. And I used to be a retail designer. So I remember this time and people saying exactly the same thing they're saying about offices. We're not going to have brick and mortar stores anymore. It's just going to be online shopping. Tomorrow there's going to be no stores whatsoever. And I remember being very freaked out by that because I thought, oh my God, this is my job. Like, this is what I do. But that didn't actually happen. There was a shift, of course, in retail, and a lot of malls, especially in the US, have closed down and things like that. But it is still very present. You can still do lots of shopping today in person. As you know, you build spaces for this. So what I wanted to kind of talk about is what are some lessons that we can learn from retail spaces? What methods have they used to bring people back into stores that we can kind of translate into a workspace?
We can say today that the retail specialists create more like a lifestyle. They create work experience, customer experience. So now the thing is that the companies are trying to shift to this kind of methods to have people come back to the offices with creating a brand. The fact that their company will have an identity in the office, you will feel in the design, the colors of the logo all over the place. You will feel like home at the office. You come there, you don't just have your desk and offices. You have like cool meeting rooms, small phone booth, You can have like a kitchen with high stools. It's a whole different concept today. The offices have to be welcoming.
So I'm hearing it's a bit more experience-based. It's focusing
Completely.
on the user experience of the individual. And I think we talked about this before, kind of the parcours client in
Yeah.
French. So what the person experiences from step by step going through the space, starting at the welcome area. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the welcoming area or the VIP kind of experience.
Yeah, the welcome area today, you don't enter an office anymore and just see someone at the reception. You give your name and you enter a meeting room. Now it's you enter a space which is already like a lounge area. You have like a chief happiness officer coming to
What a great
to
title.
welcome. Yeah. Someone comes and welcomes you. You feel special. They take you to the people who you're gonna meet, but you pass through a path like in a retail shop with a lot of branding left and right. Everything you see while going to this office
All the
shows a
senses.
kind of
Yeah.
Everything has sense today.
So something that I've personally noticed as a consumer is that when I go into a store today versus 10 or 15 years ago, is everything is thought of. And I noticed that the music is really good in certain stores. Like Sephora, sometimes I'm like, I gotta Shazam that. And it just makes you feel like you're having a more kind of exciting experience. It's not just coming in to buy something. And also, Sephora has been doing this for years, but having your makeup done at the makeup counter and having people ready to help you and give you advice. I don't see that as much in certain stores, but do you think that's something they're going to be doing moving forward?
Now we can feel in some stores you have like VIP rooms. People like to feel nowadays a bit special, like VIPs. So they create a sort of rooms where you do your personal shopping. You are in this room and some people take just care of you and bring you stuff you to see what you're gonna buy in a very specific way.
And how can we start to do that? What are some things that we can look at to be more sustainable?
We can feel today that all the projects that we're working on have this sustainable part. First of all, there's a lot of labels that companies have to have for their offices, like the BREEAM, the WELL, lot of labels, European, American standards. We have a lot of them. So it's something that the companies have to do, and it's something that the employees are very keen of having because it's now in the values of younger people.
Yes.
You cannot just tell them to go to a place where, I don't know, the light is on all day long, or you don't.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that have to be done. The nature is very important. We have a lot today of biophilic design. You let the nature enter the space with the greenery, with the light, with the material you choose. Today you don't choose anymore in the design like fake wood. You go to natural wood. You use all these things to show and to. You can also use recycled material. So yeah, we can feel a lot the sustainability in the design today of the offices.
That's great. And yeah, there was another retail concept, pop-up stores, that we were going to discuss.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me think a little bit of co-working spaces. So like if you have a giant office that is LEED certified, for example, but you're not using it in a green way, that's also an issue. So a way around that is to fill your office space with co-working partners. Is this something you've been seeing?
Yes, we have some of our. Agilité started in a co-working space. At the beginning, the first office was in a co-working building. So we have this mentality, and we can see it a lot that the co-working buildings are developing a lot. We have a lot of them.
So part of retail design, and when they were going through that whole change, when they didn't know if they would still have brick and mortar stores, was realizing that it's not an all or nothing game, right? And I think this is kind of the truth with offices. You can't really successfully do all in home work or all in office work anymore. It just
Right.
doesn't work for people. And especially if they're going to become customers tomorrow, the people in offices, we have to kind of adjust to that and make sure they're accommodated. And what do you think the risk is if organizations do not adjust to this kind of new way of being and having this balance of remote and in-person work?
Today, these values and these trends are something that has to be done for the younger generations. It's something that they have always seen. So if you don't cope with this today, you will not keep the younger employees.
Exactly.
You always now need to adapt to the new generation. You don't have any more employees who will stay in the company just for 20 years without asking anything. If
Yeah,
after
that's in the
6
past.
months, after 6 months, if they're not happy, they will just change. If they don't feel that they have the same values as you, they will just leave.
100%.
So now you have to do something to keep them with your values of the company, with the to satisfy everything they need in terms of work and in terms of personal.
Well, I think it's
personal
about
interests.
the authentic purpose,
Yeah.
right? So like I've done another episode in the past talking a little bit about that. The company has to be real with their employees. So if they're saying that their priority is the environment, but they're not actually creating a space that's sustainable and running a space that's sustainable, then people are going to see that and they're going to leave because it's not aligned with their value, for example.
Exactly.
So I think, yeah, it's more and more important that they start thinking about these things as we go into the future, because the newer generation is really, really just like, hey, I'm going to show you with my feet what my opinion is.
Exactly. And everyone is starting to be this way. So you just have to adapt to the trend, which is a very good trend, of course. But if you don't adapt, also your clients won't work with you anymore. You always look for partners who have the same values as you do.
Yes.
So it's also very important for the employees and for our customers.
Absolutely.
To have a sustainable way of life, way of working.
Yeah, it's the future.
Yeah.
So there's this quote that I really liked from Laura Lau from Digital River, and it's, more than anything, shoppers crave convenience, which online e-commerce gives them. Physical stores will be places that delight shoppers through experience and also enable merchants to have merchandise where it is needed to get it to shoppers how and where they want to receive it. And I think that ties directly into the office in terms of what is it that workers will crave or do crave now or will crave in the future. We have to keep an eye on their desire, their need.
And the diversity of their needs.
Exactly.
Because each one has his own feelings, his own requests. So you have to try to adapt to everyone. That's why there's a lot to compare between retail and offices. Retail, you design for millions of people. In offices, you have to take all the diversity of your employees so that you make them belong to your company.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all.
Exactly.
No pun intended.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Galia, and it was a pleasure having you here today. You had a lot of great things to talk about, so thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Yeah.